Do you realize that the president, by saying he would turn to the judges that he has appointed to the United States Supreme Court to save him from impeachment, he has really opened a can of worms?
It boggles my mind that he would even consider going to his Supreme Court, let alone say it out loud. The idea is staggeringly insane.
Look, he's not so bright. He ought to know that presidents can't do that. The Supreme Court just a few years ago said that it had no role in the impeachment process.
Why?
When the framers met in Philadelphia, they were wondering who should have a role in the removal of a president in charging him through impeachment and then putting him on trial, and a lot of them initially thought, well, how about the Supreme Court? They wear black robes. They're going to be good guys. And eventually there was an overwhelming rejection of that idea for several reasons. First of all, the president might have appointed some of those guys in black robes or now women in black robes. They can't be objective. Secondly, there is a concern that after a president is kicked out of office, he can still be tried criminally.
So what if he can be tried criminally? Why would that matter?
Heshi, you should stick to computers. The law has many nuances that have after effects.
Doc, I think Heshi has a valid point, and I'm sure our viewers would like to hear the answer to his question. Okay.
Listen, you two. Think about this. Who's going to hear the appeal from a criminal conviction of a president? I give you one guess.
The Supreme Court.
Yes, right. It would have to be the Supreme Court, but they would already have ruled if they had a role in the impeachment process. And then on top of that there was a concern that the Supreme Court would be too clubby and small and too easy to corrupt. Whereas the Senate, they hoped, unfortunately, they might have hoped too much. The Senate would be incorruptible and large, and finally they thought the Supreme Court wouldn't have the prestige that it would take to stand up to a president of the United States, because the court hadn't yet developed that prestige.
So, the Supreme Court has no role in impeaching a president?
That doesn't sound right to me. No role for the Supreme Court?
Not exactly. They said, we're going to have the Chief Justice preside over the Senate, but we're not going to give the court any other role, and that's where it stands now, so that the most ignorant thing the president could possibly have said, and insulting to the justices that he named too, the court justices, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, was, you're my guys. I'm going to get help from you. I think that nobody would advise him to alienate the court that way, but I'm frankly not all that upset that he did, because now they're going to have more backbone.
Heshi, Doc, I'm amazed at how smart the framers were. They really covered all the angles about the court being small and maybe too much like a club, while the Senate was large and in their minds, not susceptible to clicks.
Yes, Megan, they almost got it right. Hard to believe that after 200 plus years of compromising, we're faced with so much antagonism and rigidity in our governing bodies. When and how will it end? I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. I don't see the great unifier in our future. Try to keep your heads on straight. Thanks for watching.